At the heart of our government's infrastructure development plans, the construction industry is positioned a significant contributor to employment and economic growth in South Africa. A closer look at the inner workings of the industry reveals a disconcerting dark side veiled by the wealth of opportunity. The construction industry has a high rate of fatal injuries, accounting for a substantial portion of workplace fatalities. On average, about 36 people are injured on construction sites daily. In total, for the period 2015 to 2020, there were 47,844 injuries requiring medical attention. Two of the major types of injuries sustained on construction sites were falling to different levels and struck by. Of the 47,844 injuries that required medical attention, a total of 5,220 falling to different levels cases were recorded, and 15,812 struck by cases, accounting for 44% of all accidents and 35% of fatal accidents. It is imperative for us as an organization to deliver an excellent and sustainable workers' compensation service to all stakeholders. As such, we believe FEM's brand purpose and positioning should be aligned with a sense of security and hope, and encompass a commitment to safeguarding families, one breadwinner at a time. The ability to perceive the trauma of these life-changing events and understand the distress or needs of those most affected. Always strive to deliver an excellent and sustainable workers' compensation service to all stakeholders. Engage stakeholder communities in a meaningful way. Create the capacity to address relevant social issues through our business endeavors. Focus efforts towards becoming the preferred COID services provider in the construction industry. Align the values of the services we provide with self-determination in people and communities. Using this as our inspiration, we've conceptualized the Zero is No Accident campaign around educating and influencing the market. Because ultimately, FEM represents lives that are severely affected by workplace safety. Whether it be a loss of life, an injury, a claim, or a settlement, lives are changed by these events. The campaign seeks to build on the foundation laid by the September initiative, to draw attention to the high number of construction-related accidents, and more importantly, to educate both employers and employees in the prevention of such accidents. This is to align the campaign goals with FEM's firm belief that every accident is preventable, and that an industry with zero accidents is achievable. Getting to zero will not happen by chance. It requires purposeful planning and a concerted effort by all industry stakeholders to foster positive change in behaviors, attitudes, and perceptions towards health and safety for a sustainable industry. Therefore, zero is no accident. Family represents the foundation of self and a unity of acceptance, unconditional sacrifices, joy, support, and love that is built on a continuum of resilience and journey in humility from the past, current, and future generations. Because of this, FEM agrees that family is everything, and we will go to great lengths to support the preservation of families one breadwinner at a time. Because the economic costs of workplace injuries only tell part of the story, there's also a major human cost that is often overlooked. Workers who get injured while on the job suffer major physical and emotional pain that can go on for months or even years. And in some cases, the effects of the injury can be permanent. Imagine the physical pain and suffering an injured worker goes through daily. Being in pain all the time means problems sleeping, trouble moving around, difficulty, or the inability to do the things they once enjoyed. The prospect of having your life turned upside down like this and not knowing if it will ever be the same is something that can seem nearly impossible to live with. These are intangible costs that are very real, and it is impossible to put a price on them. A work-related injury or occupational illness is bad enough for the individual who is suffering from it, but the costs do not end there. Families also suffer deep emotional and financial pain because of a loved one's injury. Children tend to be hit the hardest by these types of injuries, as they are forced to deal with the reality of a parent who has a medical condition that renders them unable to go to work and put food on the table. Some of these injuries also significantly change the family dynamic by reversing various roles. This thrusts the spouse and children into a caregiving role, which is something many people may not be emotionally ready to deal with. The effect of workplace injuries on families in single-parent households is even more devastating. When the one parent who the children depend on for everything suddenly gets hurt, finances are even tighter, and the duty to care for the injured parent may fall squarely on the children. At its core, Zero presents the commitment to achieving 100% COID compliance in the building and construction industry by leveraging FEM's influence to achieve zero injuries, by educating the industry to ensure a sustainable workforce, by reinforcing FEM's ability to support employers in COID compliance, by advocating for zero unpaid claims, by changing lives and ensuring there are zero destitute families. The Zero's No Accident campaign will raise awareness on the root causes that plague the industry, educate and guide stakeholders on how to help themselves with preventative and proactive behavior, educate and guide stakeholders on how to help themselves when the unfortunate injury does happen, partner with brand ambassadors from the industry to be influential voices facilitating this education, use FEM's value propositions to call stakeholders to action once the campaign messaging reaches them. We are aiming to change the narrative of FEM is not well known out there. We are determined to clearly define our purpose as a brand. We want people to know our positioning, to know what we stand for, and what we do differently as FEM. This is one small step, one giant leap in the right direction.